Hey friends, this is the Creator Being Deeper Dive, episode number 2. And I'm just sitting here reflecting on this process that I began and how, since I decided to put my voice and my thoughts and my heart out there in the world in a podcast and build a website and all of these things and really commit to it. Yes, there was a part of me that really, really wanted to experience being seen, being heard, having my own financial stability. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a number of years and not working in the world and earning money. And so having the opportunity to make a living as well, wanting to feel the expansion of my own soul, wanting to feel like I'm truly meant to step into a larger life and allowing myself to go with that. Yes, those are the human things that I really want to experience. But what I've really, really, really come to understand since I started this process, this commitment, now less than a year ago, is that it's not necessarily about where you think you're headed and what your heart desires. That's only half of the puzzle. The other half of the creative process is you becoming and alchemizing and changing through the choice to pursue something. So in a nutshell, what I wanted to talk about in this episode is how simply making the choice to create is about becoming. The creative process is you becoming a different, more authentic, more heart-led version of yourself. And this is really what we're actually seeking unconsciously. It's the what's going to happen to me? What kind of version of myself am I going to meet by simply making this choice and stepping into the unknown? And that is really what I wanted to highlight. And what I wanted to encourage anybody listening to this is that if your heart is calling you to do something, and we all say, you don't have to do anything big with your life in order for it to be full and meaningful, and that is true. But on the flip side of that as well, if you don't try for things that are outside your realm of comfort or what you think is possible for yourself, then you're really never going to expand into a version of yourself that you've yet to meet. And to me, that's the reason to get the F up in the morning. It feels, there's nothing greater to me in terms of a sense of hope, a sense of piercing through the darkness and uplifting myself and humanity, is to when I choose to change, when I say, yes, tides of change, carry me. Yes, creative force of love on this planet, carry me. That is when life becomes thrilling, when it becomes truly unpredictable, when it becomes a deep surrender. And that is how we change the world. It's not by playing small. Now, that being said, there are quote unquote small things that we do in our life that can feel really big. Like if your intention and the choice that you make is, I want to be able to live my life right now, but with a greater sense of ease and peace inside with what I'm doing. Well, that is huge. That's a huge choice to make. And to step into that and figure out how to do that is incredible. I just know for me where I'm at in my journey, and I've been doing a lot of inner work, like at this point over 20,000 hours of real dedicated meditation, awareness, self-healing. Oh God, I could go on and on, but it feels like I've just been in this really long, over a decade cycle of just having to move through a lot of stuff. And that really never stops. And I don't really want it to stop. But what I really am aching to experience now is you kind of get to that place inside where you have reached that greater sense of peace. You have reached that greater sense of self-knowing and really ripening and strengthening that ability to observe yourself and have that sense of stillness, that I am bottom of the ocean stillness while you're about and moving in your life. You can, in fact, that is to me, that's the skill that, that's what we're really trying to develop with meditation, with awareness, with self-healing. It's being able to be stabilized in that place of observation where you don't have to be a slave to reactivity of your feelings. You can observe them. You can discern what's really a threat to you and what's not. And the more and more that you really discern that, you realize that there really are no tremendous threats inside. Yes, there are things in your life that can feel threatening, both physically and emotionally, and that's a truth. That's something that we experience. We experience suffering as humans. But ultimately, coming to that place of deep safety within yourself, knowing that, even if shit hits the fan, you can carry yourself. The love that you have within yourself, the safety that you have within yourself, and that you call in from the divine is always there to carry you, no matter if you're splayed out on your, on the floor of your living room crying and screaming, or if you're on top of the mountain feeling like you've conquered the world, that you are there for yourself. And I feel like if I really had to break this up into like a handful of peak moments in self-evolution, I would say number one is strengthening that awareness muscle, which is really, really being in that place of observation and stillness within yourself, no matter what's going on around you, right? And then you get that discernment. You really, really see that everything's happening for you, not to you, and you can just watch all of the human attachments that we have, and you can continue working through them. And then the next step is really, really coming to that sense of deeper self-knowing and knowing that you can carry yourself, because you've proven it over and over again that no matter what you've faced inside, no matter what you've been allowing yourself to see, you can face it, you can move through it, and you gain tremendous strength and resilience inside. And you feel like you really are your own best friend, that you are the love of your life, that you are your own guru, you are your own teacher, you are your own savior, you are your own best friend, all those things. And then I think where I'm at right now in the process is really that for me is ripening that sense of safety so that we feel really, 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 really free. We can unapologetically live our lives and be who we truly want to be, express ourselves truly, fully, and step into that. And so then it really is about doing bigger things with your life. You've mastered these things, and now it's really about stepping into what can I do with my life now that I have that strength and that tremendous sense of self-safety. my God, the world is going to open up. It's going to expand even more. The possibilities of my life and what I can do with it are even bigger than I could even imagine. Once we have these things under our belt to a higher degree, it doesn't mean we don't stop developing them, because we do, because like I said in the very beginning of this, is that it really is about the becoming. We make a choice to lean into something that we think we want, that we think feels good, and that choice leads us on a path of becoming, which is really a path of undoing and remembering and coming back to our hearts over and over and over and over and over, and realizing that our hearts are so huge, and the more that we can soften into them, the more that we can serve the love that we have inside of us more and more and more. Literally every relationship that we have, every choice that we make, how does that serve the love that we carry inside of us? We are guardians of this huge heart that we have. Think like this beautiful big, like on Valentine's Day, those ridiculously large stuffed hearts that you can give to somebody. Like, think of that, and it's like the size of half your body, and you're just holding it, and there's a cord of everything that you do and every relationship that you have extended from that out into your life. And how does each of those things bring energy to that heart? That is what I think we're really called to do. And that image for me was really cemented by a woman named Sophia Sundari. She's really, really helped me. I have tremendous reverence and gratitude for her as a teacher and mentor in today's world. I think she's like 10 steps ahead of a lot of people when it comes to really embodying this sense of self-safety and self-expression. And she comes from a deeply feminine perspective. Anyway, check her work out. I think if you are decidedly on a spiritual path and are enjoying things like what I'm talking about, then Sophia Sundari classes, workshops, retreats, things like that might be for you. She's tremendous. But that idea of we're here to serve that love that we share in our heart, that love that we hold, that is all we're coming back to over and over again. We're just becoming more and more of that. And that is what I'm here to experience, and that is what I want to help guide others to do, simply because I'm holding the space for that within myself. So if you feel like in your process of, choosing a creative pursuit, you're trying to create something and you are trying to produce, right? We all get stuck in this, like, okay, I'm going to commit to making X, Y, or Z once a week or twice a week or whatever. And you feel like you're not meeting that because there's just something in you that isn't moving, or you feel like you're forcing it. Stop. Just stop. It's great to have discipline. It's great to make a commitment. But if you really, really, really want to come from a place of open-heartedness, which is where the true creative power lies, your open heart is the gateway to all creative force and expression. 1,000,000,000%. And you can't do that unless you feel safe within yourself fundamentally. Truly fundamentally. And so to feel safe, you have to start really honoring that heart. If you feel like you're pushing, if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like something is misaligned, or that you don't know how to take the next step, well, then just let it breathe. Give it space. Figure out, how can you serve your heart? How can you just simply be? And if you allow yourself the space to do that, then the next step happens. And this has been my experience 1,000,000,000%. And it's why I haven't done my 5th podcast yet. I've outlined the first 3 seasons of my podcast. I've had tremendous ideas come to me, and they're my passion projects, and I even have them outlined on my website. But they're just there. They're like holding space, because I know that the things I'm truly meant to put my energy into, I will know. And when you feel fully surrendered, and when you feel fully safe, and when you feel open-hearted, that is when your genius is going to come forth. And for me, holy moly, that's the space that I want to create in, because it's so hopeful and it's so helpful to yourself and to mankind. And I don't want to create anything less than that. That being said, yes, that's the place that I really want to move from. And there are other times where, you just want to create because it's just going to keep you moving. It doesn't have to be any sort of product, but only you can discern that for yourself. Does it help you to just show up for yourself every single day? Because we all fall off the bandwagon. It's like a diet, right? As soon as you make a commitment to yourself, you're going to have moments where you're going to be tested, where your resistance is going to come up, where you're not going to be consistent. And the whole point is to figure out what really works for you. It doesn't mean that you have to, put something out every single Friday. It just means that you have to figure out what works for you. And for me, I need rest. I need to draw back. I need to make the progress that my heart is yearning to make before I feel like, yes, and the gates open and I am ready to do this. And that's what it's been like for me the last couple of weeks. It's been really, really hard for me inside. I'm going through massive transition in my life. And this 5th podcast that I want to do for Creator Being is about open-heartedness. And I've known for a really long time that is really, really, really the key to alchemizing anything in our life. Any feeling that is uncomfortable, any trauma that we go through, it all has to be processed through our heart, and we have to choose to stay soft in a world that seems hard, in a world that is hard. Let's be real. We're all here in a human body, and we signed up for suffering. And so the practice is to remain open-hearted, and I know I've remained soft during many, many, many times of tremendous pain and hardship and resistance. And I've proven to myself that carries me and is the miracle that I seek. I know that if I keep my heart open, that I can really move through anything. But even that, I have my own trauma. Even that, there's deeper levels of softening and of opening all the time. And you can feel it in your body. You can feel more relaxed. You can feel more at ease. You can feel like you're really even more connected to the source of all creation inside of you in your heart. It's tremendous. It's just tremendous. And so I've had to go through more layers of softening here recently, letting go of more trauma. And like I've mentioned before, I know that I'm about to step into a really different phase of my life. I'm on that precipice where I know that I'm up-leveling. Like I'm just on every single aspect I could possibly experience in my life. Things are shifting internally, and it's just a matter of time before the external starts really reflecting that. And so I encourage you all, whoever is listening, to stay on that path. Victory to the most persistent. And know that it's not always about the destination, the deep desire that you have in your heart. That's the call. But when you answer the call, you're going to get a beautiful adventure. And that is the thing to celebrate. That is the thing to lean into. The becoming of creating. Sending you all so much love.